right, good morning, FFA. Let's kick off week 11 as we jump in here on March 10th. Can't be more excited going into this week. You guys have so much momentum on your side going into this month of March and so many big things happening here at the agency. So super excited to spend some time with you guys this morning. We're going to jump into things that I wish I knew, all right, as a new agent. So these are going to be some mistakes, some tips for you guys to just help you out in the field. And even as an experienced agent, what I'm going to go over with you is going to help you too. All right. So stay tuned for this because this is stuff over the past 6 years as an agent that I've realized that in the beginning I didn't. And if I realized this early on, it would have been a lot easier finding success in this industry quicker. All right. And that's my goal, is to jumpstart your career here. So as we jump in to today's call, I'm going to get this PDF pulled up for you guys. All right. Hey, hopefully you guys can see that now. I had a little bit of a break in the live feed there, but verse of the day as we jump in here to Monday, March 10th, 2025. Be the fruit of this, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is. Looking at this verse for you guys, hey, it's very easy in the world we live in today to just get caught up in everything but the things listed in this verse. And I would encourage you, if you guys want to go out there, have a phenomenal Monday, have a great week, think about this. If the fruit of the Spirit is all of these things, what if we exemplified these things in this week that we're about to partake in? How much better will your week be? All right, if you focus on these things versus other things like stress, anxiety, greed, jealousy, all right, self-doubt, all those things that don't come from the Spirit. What if you actually focus on the things that do come from the Spirit? So just a quick verse of the day to help you guys out. Let's talk about some top agents from last week. Big shout out to the top 15, not top 5. Coming in, we had Sam. Big shout out to Sam. Not only is she putting up some big individual production, but she is on her way flying out to Texas this morning to train some new agents. So big shout out to you, Sam, writing heavy, but also building and investing into your team as well. Big shout out to Julie and Becca for getting their names up there in the leaderboard this past week. Aaron in the leaderboard like always. Big shout out to Kirk. Individual production there, but he also locked down and funded his first full annuity. So good job to him. He's got a bunch more in the pipeline there. Big shout out to Jess with a big week, going over 5K for her. Ray, like always, putting his name in the top of the charts. We had Kay showing Team Honey Rock how it's done there, leading the way. Nice job to you, Kay. Big shout out to Stephanie up there in Delaware, as she's just been having just an awesome year so far. This huge year for Stephanie, shaping up to be the biggest year of her career. Same for Becky, former Rookie of the Year, still putting up that AP, running for Agent of the Year this year. Huge congratulations to Joni for putting her name there in the top 5 of last week. Nice work, Joni. Rebecca, like always. Big shout out to Rebecca. Not only was she in the top 5, but she also hit the 10 app club, writing over 10 applications just last week. So 2 a day, that's the way to do it. Nice job, Rebecca. Willie, super proud of you, buddy, putting your name in the top 3 last week as he went out, had one of his best weeks since getting started here not too long ago. So big shout out to you, Willie, going over like 7,500, I believe, close to 8K for Willie last week. Big shout out to KZ. All right. Not only is she leading the way on individual production, but Southern Life is just crushing it with some team growth there. So nice work to you, Kaylee. If you guys didn't hear the call with Kaylee on Friday, make sure you go back through our live feed videos in YouTube and check out that video. You guys would really appreciate all the tips that she had to share on that call last week. And then taking home number one, let's give a big shout out to this agent, Ivy, coming in at agent of the week last week. She pushed so hard last week. There was multiple days that I seen Ivy post a sale at like 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night as she was running to hit agent of the week. I believe this might have been one of the best weeks that Ivy has had. Maybe even be a personal record. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Ivy, but huge week to you. Coming up almost near $10,000 in production. So super proud of you, Ivy. Way to take home agent of the week last week there. So guys, let's jump into some things that I wish I would have known, okay, when I got started in this industry. Y'all have to bear with me on today's call. Still can't talk. I don't know what it is. This little laryngitis has been kicking my butt for the past like 4 weeks. But let's talk about this. Guys, as a brand new agent, these are the things that I wish I just would have realized, all right, going out there in the field, all right? It would have made my life so much less stressful as an agent if I put the pressure on these things and I didn't put so much pressure on myself. So number one, okay, jumping into this week, numbers over skill. All right, guys, you do not have to be the agent who knows everything to become the best agent, to be the top agent of the week. You don't have to be the one that knows everything, okay? You have to be the one that puts the most pressure on the activity you're putting in every single week, and you will become the number one agent. I promise you. Okay, if you put all the pressure on how many people are you presenting to every week, whether it's on the phone or in person, you will be the number one agent, even if you're brand new and you don't know anything about the carriers, underwriting, none of that stuff. None of that matters if you're not sitting with enough people to win every single week. Okay, you could know everything about insurance, every carrier, every guidebook, every quoting tool. None of it matters if you're not sitting and talking to people every single day. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people a day, right, is what it's going to take for you to be the number one agent this week and this year. It's what it's going to take for you to hit the Scotland trip. So one thing I wish I would have put the pressure on early is the numbers and not myself. If I would have just realized, hey, I need to sit with more people, talk to more people, I would get the result I wanted to get. Okay. So numbers over skill is so important in this industry. You're going to learn this as you do it, but the most important part is to just do it first. Okay. So numbers over skill, that's number one. Let's talk about number two. It takes no's to get yeses. All right. Every time I would get told no as a newer agent, it just ate me up, right? I'd have a brand new lead. Somebody just filled this thing out yesterday, and I show up and they act like they never did it, right? That used to irritate me so bad, but I didn't realize this. The more no's you get, the more yeses it equals. All right. So if you're out there right now, you should be running to get told no more than any other agent this week, because in turn, you're going to get told yes more than any other agent this week. Okay. Michael Jordan, most game-winning shots in NBA history. He also has the most game-winning misses and loses in NBA history. Okay. Babe Ruth, the year that he hit the home run record at the time in the MLB, he also had the most strikeouts out of anybody in the league that very same year. Okay. If I think back to last year and I think about Aaron winning agent of the year, I can guarantee you Aaron got told no more than any other agent last year, whether it's at the door, in the presentation, all right, you name it. So it takes no's to get yeses. Guys, if you're only getting told no once or twice a day, you're not trying hard enough. you should be getting told no 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day, because I know that that's going to equal you getting told yes an equal amount of times. Okay. So it takes no's to get yeses. I used to just get ate up getting told no out there in the field. Leave my first house, no sale, no presentation, right? Get kicked out. It just used to bother me. But then what I realized is, guys, you get paid even when you get told no. All right. If you add up how much you make in a year and divide that by how many times you get told no, you get paid like almost $19 an attempt. Whether or not they're even home, whether or not they answer the phone, you get paid like $19 every time you just attempt to talk to somebody. Okay, if I told you right now I would pay you $20 for every person you talk to today, how many people would you run to talk to? How many people would you be dialing on that phone, right? I know if it was me, I'd be dialing a lot. I'd try to figure out how can I do 100 in an hour, right? To get paid $20 on each one of those. So it takes no's to get yeses. Super important for you. Don't be the agent that is running around, all right, getting frustrated and quitting on yourself early because you've only got told, no 3 times today and it just hurts your feelings. Don't be that agent. Be the agent that continues to push. Okay. Number 3, you can't sell what you don't believe in. All right. If you don't have life insurance on yourself, you can't sell it. All right. So I know pretty much every one of you watching this call has life insurance, but if you don't, that's the first thing you need to do today is buy it. Write it on yourself. It pays for itself. Guys, you're going to get paid the commission on that. So why would you not have it? So you can't sell what you don't believe in. It is so much more authentic to be able to look at your clients and say, this is exactly what I have on myself, on my parents, on my kids. I'm not just preaching it. I'm actually living it too, right? So as a new agent, guys, that should be like the very first thing you do is make sure you have your insurance in order before you try to go help other people with theirs. If you can do that, you're going to be out there more authentic, more transparent. You're going to have more conviction in what you do. All right. The other thing with this is you can't overcome objections until you realize how much you're hurting people by not overcoming them. All right. What do I mean by that? Okay. I had a client one time at the door. Okay. This was when I was probably a year into this industry. At the door is a husband and a wife. They told me to come back. Said, we don't know if we can afford it. We don't know if we want it, but come back next week. So I came back next week. They told me to come back again, right? This was like an hour from my house. They're like, oh, I forgot. I'm so busy. Come back again. I'm like, okay, I'll come back again. I went back the next week. The very next week, they tried to do the same thing. And I said, look, I can't keep coming back. Let's just sit down, go over it real quick. If I can't help you, we'll move on. But at least let me sit down with you for 10 minutes. Sat down with them. They reluctantly, very, very hard sell, agreed to go through with it. All right. Not even 4 weeks later, the spouse passed away. And the husband got a check for that insurance money. It passed the contestability period, right? The medical check, that medical questions, right? Everything worked out. The company actually paid the death benefit. They only made their first payment. All right. And they got a check for the husband got a check for almost $13,000, $14,000. It was at that time I realized, what if I had just agreed to come back? What if I didn't overcome the objection? That guy would have been homeless, wouldn't have been able to pay his bills, wouldn't have been able to pay for the funeral. And why was he able to do that? It's because, number one, God put it in his heart to actually commit to it. But number two, I was persistent enough to stop taking no for an answer. Guys, as an agent, every time you allow the objections to prevent you from helping your client, you're not just hurting yourself, you're actually hurting your clients. So you can't sell what you're not convicted in, but also be convicted in overcoming the objections, right? If Miss Betty answers the door today and she's got the sniffles and she says, come back, in 2 weeks, when I'm feeling a little bit better, say, look, Miss Betty, Don't worry about it. I'm going to help you today. I'll go quick so you can get back to resting. Don't let somebody go 2 weeks without getting help because you don't know when something's going to happen to them. All right. And I know if you're a new agent, you might not have experienced this yet, but there have been a lot of clients, not even clients, potential clients that have told me to come back. And for whatever reason, I couldn't follow up with them. We never ended up connecting and they passed away with nothing, right? That put their family in a horrible spot. I wish I would have been a little bit more persistent. All right. So be convicted in what you do. Don't take no for an answer. All right. Tell them how important it is because sometimes, guys, somebody just needs you to be direct, strong, and confident because they might not be confident in themselves. And you need to provide that so that they actually have the things in place that they need to have. Okay. Super important. But as a new agent, I was too timid to do that. I was too timid to act like that. Right. But as an experienced agent, I'm not afraid to call my client and say, hey, you missed your draft. You better fix this, right? You can't be walking around without insurance. Let's get it paid today. Be direct and confident because if you're not, you're only hurting other people in addition to yourself. So that's number 3. Number 4, all right, as a new agent jumping into this week or even an experience, this is for the experienced agents out there. Fall off equals opportunity. All right, fall off equals opportunity. When you guys woke up last week, it's March 3rd, when everybody pays their bill, when Social Security comes in and you got a bunch of missed draft payments. Guys, your eyes should be lighting up. That equals opportunity. That equals you an opportunity to get back in front of your client and figure out what went wrong and fix it. And a lot of times when you get back in front of your client, it ends up in more production for you, right? I'll never forget one of my biggest clients I've ever written, right? Was paying like $300 and something a month. And that first paycheck went to go through that first bill draft, whatever you want to call it. They missed it. And I thought, man, maybe they want to cancel this thing. But I was like, no, it's really big. So I'm going to go back to the house. So I went back to her house. And when I went there, she was shocked. She didn't know why the payment didn't go through. Right? I still to this day don't know. For whatever reason, it just didn't go through, but she wanted the insurance. We called the company, redrafted it. And as soon as I did that, her brother walked into the house and said, hey, I need insurance too. I walked out of that house with another $150 a month policy. But what if I didn't follow up? Right? What if she didn't miss her draft payment? Would I have ever written her brother? Probably not. So guys, fall off equals opportunity. Don't let chargebacks stress you out. Don't let missed drafts stress you out. That's an opportunity for you to, number 1, fix the policy you wrote, but number 2, get in front of other people in that same household that weren't there when you were there the first time, right? I've had a similar instance, right? Fall off. A wife cancels her plan. Okay. Turns out husband wasn't at home when I wrote the plan. All right. He was working. He must have got home, said they didn't need it. They canceled it. I went back over there, met with the husband. He ended up liking me. I convinced him that they did need it. And then I walked out with 2 policies versus just 1. So fall off is an opportunity for you. It's not a hiccup. Guys, you should be going through your back office every single week and checking and seeing who missed their draft payment, who's fallen off, who's pending lapse, what happened to your people, and get back in front of them. Fix that stuff. All right, guys, as I run through production, most of what I see for chargebacks are non-sufficient funds, just silly things that you know your client actually wants the product, right? Out of like all of the chargebacks, right? I would say probably like 5% of those actually show up as canceled. 95% of them show up as pending requirements not met for underwriting, delivery requirements not met, or non-sufficient funds. Those 3 issues are something that the client doesn't want to have happen, right? They want the coverage. So look at your fall off. If you have 20% of your business fall off, only 5% of that 20 is people who actually don't want what you sold. 15% want it. They just need you to do a little bit of extra work and get it fixed up for them. So fall off equals opportunity. Going into this week, look at your fall off, get back in front of them and fix it because it's going to create more opportunities for you as an agent. And lastly, on today's call, okay, something that it's just something I wish I would have paid more attention to every single day and every single week is this. You have to work harder than you actually think you do to get the result that you want to get. All right, guys, if you're looking at that top 15 leaderboard, agents doing $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a week. The only difference between you and them is the amount of effort that you're putting into your week. That's it. So if you want to get that result, if you want to make $5,000 in your bank a week, 20 grand in a month, right? You just have to work hard enough to justify that income. And in this industry, the thing I love about our opportunity here at FFA is there's no cap on how hard you can work. The only cap is the one that you put on yourself. And as an agent, for me, going in the field every single day when I first got started, right? I used to put so many caps on myself, right? I used to be like, well, I could maybe talk to 2 people today, 3 people. I went until 2 o'clock and none of my leads were at home. But then I started looking at it, right? And I'm like, well, it's 2 o'clock. Nobody's at home. How many people have I called? 0. Why? Right? It's 4 o'clock. Why am I going home? Like, I've been in the field for 4 hours today. Why am I going home at 4? Push it. Push the limits a little bit. Ivy is a perfect example of an agent that can show you what's possible when you push the limits like she did last week. There was many days Ivy didn't close anything throughout the day, but she closed the policy at 6 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night. I'm not telling you that you got to work 12 hours a day to find success in this industry. But what I am telling you is if you want to live a life like nobody else can live and make an income that most people can't make, you have to work harder than most people work in order to actually achieve that. You got to be out there like Ivy at 6, 7 o'clock at night, putting up production if you want to get yourself financially free, right? You're never going to become financially free working the same amount of effort than you've worked forever. It doesn't work that way, right? If you want to achieve something you've never achieved before, you got to put the work in like you've never put in before to actually see it happen. And the cool thing about this opportunity is if you do that consistently, you would be amazed at what happens on year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, when you're getting paid renewal commissions off what you wrote 3 years ago, right? Guys, what you can build for yourself as an agent is unlike any career out there, but it requires hard work, dedication, loyalty, right? And just focus to be able to have that. So as you go in there every single day, go into it with that expectation. Are you working harder or not as hard as you did the day before? And every day that you choose not to work as hard or harder, your business is going to go down. Every day that you push the limits, it's going to continue to go up. All right. But you got to think about that. Sometimes we get comfortable. All right. As agents, we do just enough to be comfortable. Push yourself past that comfort limit and look at what happens for you, right? Look at what happens in your life. So that's all I got for you guys on today's call. Just some quick tips of things I was thinking about that I wish I would have applied more in my first couple of years in this industry. I appreciate you guys for jumping on here. Shout out to the top 15. Big shout out to everybody that is running hard this week. Let's push it. Let's set a new record as an agency this week, and we will be back here on Wednesday.